Hugo from the Goat Agency today. Harry's going to be talking at Social Day in London and Birmingham. Welcome, Harry.
Thank you very much.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you got started with the Goat?
Yeah, it was a very interesting story. I started my first business when I was 16 in football blogging, which is kind of a very far translation from what we're doing now. But from that, I got into a company called Sport Lobster, which was a startup in the UK in the sport market. Met the founder at the very early stages, then became head of their social channels, grew it right up. But there we realised that 95% of our investment of the £17 million we put into that company actually didn't work and didn't have any marketing return on investment. So we took the 5% that did, and that was all in influencer marketing, and it drove 95% of our results. That, hold on, there's got to be a way that we can correlate this for other brands at the really high level. And people were starting at that point in kind of 2014 to talk about influencer marketing in a different way that they have done before, with the brand ambassadors or the key thought leaders, which it was at the time, to being, hold on, there's a guy on Instagram with 20,000 followers and he can drive sales for our product, or he can drive users to our app. And that's what we looked at. We went, okay, we're going to take the risk. This is the time to do it. The bubble's there. Went straight into it, and now we're a fairly leading influencer marketing company in the UK, working with Apple, KFC, Coca-Cola, British Airways on some really cool innovative campaigns.
So just stripping it right back for some of our listeners who might not know what influencer marketing is, what is your definition of influencer marketing?
Good question. Lots of people have lots of different definitions of the word influencer. Ours internally and when we pitch is if you have heard of the person but don't follow them, then that's very likely they're a celebrity.
Yeah.
So Zoella, we class as a celebrity because you're paying a premium for Zoella, because you're actually effectively getting a price not only for her value but also a price on top for her persona, the endorsement of her brand on top of your product. So yes, she'll probably provide some value at a very high level because she's incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
But does she provide as much value as a person with 50,000 followers that you've never heard of per click, per engagement, per sale? Maybe not. And if you can scale like what we do here en masse, with like 100 people at 50,000 to 200,000 talking about something you've never heard of, then that's when you get the ultimate value. And our goal at Goat is to find the value in the people that you don't necessarily know. And that's what works.
And is there still an element here of you being heavily targeted?
It's so data driven. That's kind of what the barrier to entry for influencer marketing companies is the trial and error of going through this. We were very lucky. I say we, myself, Aaron and Nick, who started Go, that we had £17 million at Sport Lobster to play with. Yeah. And we call it we call it the £17 million mistake. We spent money terribly, but we spent some of it brilliantly.
Yeah.
And we went, okay, well, forget that 16.5 million. That £500,000 we spent was the best money we've ever spent in terms of value it brought to the business. So how can we scale that for other people? So we use that £17 million mistake to go, okay, well, if we can use the data, so effectively that 2 years at Sport Lobster, we learned so much, so many nuances about messaging, timing. Like it makes so much difference. And the fact that we could send a list of all the influencers we're about to use for a campaign to a client, they could use that list, they could contact all the influencers, go for it. Like we don't own any influencers, we're just the middle strand. But we know, sometimes better than the influencer, that if someone posts at 7 p.m, they're going to get 40% less engagement than if they post at 7:14 p.m. Like it's that granular off the back of all the campaigns we do, that we are so much about value at the very, very granular detail to get the most for the client, because we are an agency that is performance led, that gives guarantees in a market that is so not guaranteed. So we have to find internally the value in order to get the most for our clients, because we've guaranteed the numbers. So we've got to go and find the numbers by being as data led as possible.
And what's we had a chat earlier. You've got some really good SME clients, but you've also got some really good tier one clients, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
What's been your favourite campaign to work on?
I think there's two sides to that. There's the startup campaigns that we've grown from, like, oh, I've got my last $5,000. What am I going to do with it? We're like, give it to us. We can help you raise the money. To obviously Apple, but the $5,000 where you've got, okay, well, this is this guy's last chance. Put $5,000 in, made no money on it, knowing that if he got X results, he could go and raise $200,000, and we'd probably get all of it.
Yeah.
That was the most exciting campaign. Even though it was probably the smallest campaign we've ever done, the fact that so much was riding on it, for not just us as an agency, it didn't matter so much, but for him as a guy, and what it meant for his business to grow was so important. And then he went on to raise $200,000. We ended up being his marketing agency for the last year, and we do campaigns every weekend for him. And because it returns better value than any other channel, and the fact that with every weekend goes by, we get more data to work out who to drop, who to bring in, who to sub out, who to change the messaging for, who to move from 7 o'clock to 8:14 p.m. That makes the difference, and that's exciting because it's what all entrepreneurs are living for. And as an entrepreneur myself, moving into the agency side from the kind of product side, it was really exciting to almost feel like I was fully invested in that business. As an entrepreneur, I almost owned that business because I had his last $5,000. I had to make it work. But then Apple was cool. We did the Skepta campaign at the Ali Pali, where we got the whole of the grime scene talking about that one night, and then the documentary he did on Apple Music, and that was really cool. Very innovative, very very different. But it's not quite the same. It doesn't mean as much as just right down to the grassroots and helping someone go from nothing, effectively to everything, which is what we're here to do.
And how do influencers get on your radar, or do you actually actively go out and find them?
Works both ways. Some people contact us because they're here in the market that we're spreading the money. And that's really, like, we've had a few meetings recently where everyone's just basically admitted that we're controlling the value in the UK market, especially. Like, we put the most money into the influencer marketing world that we can pretty much move how we want to. And again, it all comes down to finding that value, because some people go, okay, well, I've upped my price to £300, and sometimes we're like, well, it doesn't really matter that much because we're still finding value there. Sometimes it's like, well, that's completely taking you out of all our campaigns because now you don't provide anything. And then we do a lot of reaching out because we get a lot of obscure campaigns. Lots of brands at the moment are looking at the grime sector, which was obviously not available 18 months ago to the same extent it is now. So like the urban music sector. Then you've got the running, fitness vertical, which brands in the sports world are obsessed with.
Huge.
It's massive, and influencers coming up through the ranks on Instagram, Snapchat, and that's really interesting. So we have to obviously reach out to all those guys and talk about, again, the value of working out that if someone's charging £100 for a post, is that good? What does it return? Does it get us clicks? Does it get us buys? Does it get us awareness? What the KPI is for the brand? But no, it works both ways. But mainly, it's us being targeted on what we know the price is going to be to what it's actually going to properly deliver.
And if I'm a business who is being traditional marketplaces, there's a lot of audit certificates out there for audiences. I can protect myself to a degree. I know what I'm buying. How can businesses protect themselves against some of the less scrupulous agencies or individuals out there? I mean, is there any tips that you give people to making sure that they're measuring value?
It's quite difficult to say. I mean, the influencer marketing, and with all types of advertising through the ages, and all types of products or businesses, Uber's a good example. Everyone wants to copy what's working. Influencer marketing works fundamentally, whether you're skeptical of it or not. It works if it's done well. Better than anything else. The problem is, there is a lot of people who've heard it works very well, there's good money in it, it's growing, it's only going to get bigger, and they've gone, okay, well, I'll have a go on this. And that is an issue. As for all markets, Uber has been hit by the fact that other people are trying to get into the market and haven't been so good, get a bad reputation, and people just brand it, oh, it must have been Uber. Or it must be taxis that aren't driven by people who are licensed taxi drivers. Well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just because people are trying to get into the market, and I'm not protecting Uber by any stretch of the imagination. But what I'm saying is that there's bandits in this industry, but there is in all industries. I think the fact that
I suppose any industry in its infancy.
Exactly. Yeah. People are going to be vying for that monopoly in some ways, and I think there's a lot of one-man bands, but there's also a lot of people that are doing the talent side of influencer marketing, which I think is smart. People are kind of land grabbing the talent on YouTube and Snapchat and Instagram and representing them. That is the polar opposite of what the Go agency does. We don't represent anybody. We don't own any accounts. And that's why it comes all the way back again to value.
Yeah.
We have no bias on anything. When someone comes in and says, I want a fitness campaign, I don't have a fitness influencer that I go, oh, you should use him.
Yeah.
I don't care. I want to find the guy who's going to get you the most value. And I'm going to look at the whole market and go, okay, well, at the moment, he's really hot on Facebook's algorithm. He's creating Facebook Lives every day, which is pumping him up, which means the next photo he posts is going to get 5 times more engagement than he did 2 months ago. So his value, even though he's pricing himself at the same time, the same price 2 months ago, is going to be far better value right now.
I suppose as well, it also gives you the flexibility that if somebody was big 6 to 12 months ago, they may not necessarily have the same impact now.
Exactly, but they're pricing themselves at the same.
Yeah, quite.
So that's the difference. We have no bias. We only want to deliver, and that's the big thing. Like we came into the agency world from a product service world where we paid millions of pounds to agencies and it hadn't worked and they hadn't delivered. So we made a pact to ourselves within the 3 directors and went, okay, well, the only thing that we have to do is deliver. Even if we lose money, we have to deliver, because that's reputation, it's repeat business, which keeps the agencies alive. It's cash flow, because it means people will pay quicker. They will not hold on to funds for a long time. They will be lenient when we ask for 50% up front. It's relationship. But that only comes from delivery.
Yeah.
If we say we're going to do this, and it's guaranteed, we have to do it. And that's, I suppose, what separates us again from quite a lot of different influence agencies. We guarantee it. And that shows how much we believe in the guys in the content team, that they can find the value, because we're saying, we're going to get you 5,000 downloads, and it's going to cost you this. And we will keep on spending until we get 5,000 downloads. That's a massive, that could cost us £5 if we find the value, or it could cost us 10 grand and we lose 5 grand. But we are so confident to the brand to say, we can do this for that price.
Yeah.
That kind of separates us.
It's a long-term
It's a long-term
objective
play.
for you,
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
a long-term play. We're in this for the long term. We see our competitors as MSC Saatchi, Ogilvy, the top agencies. We think we're going to be there. We're
Are
not
you finding them really trying to come in and specialise?
I think people will come and acquire.
Okay.
I think it makes sense. I think it's because it's so specialist, and the scary thing is it's run by guys, or the guys who are being successful in this market are run by guys similar to my age, 21, 20, like the cap's really 25, to understand this market, like inside and out.
Yeah.
To have relationships with these guys. There's obviously guys doing it older than that, and they're doing great. But the rule is that most people operating in this space are 21 to 25. And
I'm not operating.
and that's kind of what's happening. So the bigger agencies will think, oh, okay, we can acquire this, get them in house, because it's very difficult for a big agency to just go and set up a team of 21-year-olds with no real experience to just go and run an influencer marketing company. They'd rather buy a set of 21-year-olds.
By the experience here, it makes a ton of sense.
Even if they're 22 and they've had a year of experience in influencer marketing, the beauty is influencer marketing as a thing has only been about for 2 years, so they've got 50% of the whole market. So that's exciting.
So where do you see this going long term in terms of as an industry? Do you think this is going to become a mainstream channel?
This is it.
Yeah.
This is it for the next 10 years, and beyond. But this is it. TV's dying like the quickest death. Banner ads are dying. Social ads are still valuable, but they have to be used in the right way. And the problem is, because they became the only thing, like the answer. And I think that's going to be a risk to influencer marketing as well, because it's becoming the answer. People are going to use it badly, not going to get the value's going to be disjointed. But social ads do have a place. Twitter ads are okay, but Facebook ads, I mean, that's where the value really is. But advertising has changed so much in the last 60 years, and it always goes through phases. And influencer marketing is this phase, and it has to be around for the next 10 years, whilst these platforms come up. And the exciting thing is, these platforms are coming up every couple of years and spiking. Snapchat didn't exist 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And now it's the platform. Like, if you want to find value as an agency right now or as a business, Snapchat is the value. So it has to exist. Like,
for consumer or B2B?
Either. The audience is there, and the myth that just young people use Snapchat is crazy. Just because you don't doesn't mean someone else doesn't. And there is audience in all sorts of different verticals. Again, it comes back to all the niches that you can tap into. Even if they've got 500 followers, but they're all wedding planners, then there is a very, very good, strong community. So that because we looked at doing something with Marriott Hotels on that. So you can see the breadth of the different things we can look at. And yeah, it's got to be here to stay. I'm sure something else will come out that'll be as innovative, but the fact is we've only scratched the surface of the different platforms it can host itself on. Things like Musical.ly spike up, and you're like, hold on, there's an opportunity there. You've got House Party, there's an opportunity to have a look at. Snapchat, which is going to develop, and then the even more exciting thing than new platforms is new features inside of the current platforms. Instagram Live, Facebook Live, Instagram Stories, Snapchat Stories. Sure, Snapchat Live is going to come around very soon. Meerkat was up and down, Periscope was up and down, now it's Twitter Live. There's so much going on, and there's so many ways to take advantage of it that there's just got to be longevity, because otherwise Facebook dies.
Yeah.
And that's not going to go anywhere for a long time. Influencer marketing will exist at the same rate as Facebook.
Well, to be fair to them, they do have a look at what's going on and try and implement it.
Yeah, and it's only beneficial to the consumer, the end consumer, because influencers, unlike ads, are providing value to the consumer away from their sponsored stuff. Facebook has a value for a content creator creating value on their creating content on their platform, because let's say GoTube creates a video once a week. He is creating content for Facebook in some ways, and he gets 3 million people to watch it every week. That is incredibly valuable to Facebook as a platform. Therefore, they want to support him on the algorithm, which therefore makes him better for sponsored posts, which therefore creates value for the end brand. But in the middle, the user who's watching his videos is having a great time.
Yeah.
So, as long as that chain works all times and doesn't skew by Facebook trying to be too clever with their algorithm or anything like that, I can't see it changing. But I'm not naive enough to think that this is it for the rest of the time. It's not. But that's how businesses have got to change.
Try to look at it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for taking some time out to talk to us
No
today.
worries. It's been interesting. I'm really excited.
We're looking forward to having you at Social Day.
Cheers. I'm looking forward to